In the spring of 2006, exotic dancer Crystal Mangum accused 3 Duke University lacrosse players of raping her after she was hired for one of their off-campus house parties. The case was dragged out for months until the charges were eventually dropped in December of that year after it became clear it was a false accusation. The district attorney responsible for bringing the charges was eventually disbarred for his conduct during the case. Now, after 18 years, she's finally admitting it was all a lie.
I testified falsely against them by saying that they raped me when they didn't, and that was wrong. And I betrayed the trust of a lot of other people who believed in me. And made up a story that wasn't true.
Joining me now is Brian Claypool, criminal trial and defense attorney. Brian, she falsely reported a crime. She destroyed these men's lives. What's your reaction to what happened here in this admission that she lied the whole time?
Yeah, hey Jason, great to be with you. Wow, did you see how she presented that? It's almost like she's a kid at the playground that stayed too long and her parents got mad at her. Wow, okay. I mean, this is devastating what happened. Not only as to Crystal Mangum, Jason, but let's go one step further. What about that local prosecutor whose face you put on that screen? What about the state attorney general in North Carolina back in 2006? Both of them are equally, if not more, responsible. Why? Because local and state prosecutors are the gatekeepers for alleged victims like this who come forward and want to ruin the lives of somebody else by saying they were sexually assaulted. Until we start vetting out these liberal prosecutors that are looking at a case like this and saying, oh, there are racial overtones. Let me go after these lacrosse players who are white and let me elevate my political career. Jason, we just saw this happen with Daniel Penny, another renegade liberal prosecutor who wanted to use Penny to try to elevate his and her political career. And that has to stop.
So the interview with Crystal Mangum, it took place at the North Carolina Correctional Institute for Women because she's serving 14 to 18 years for her 2013 conviction of the 2011 fatal stabbing of her boyfriend. And she's eligible to get out in 2026. Shouldn't she be prosecuted for lying in this case? Can you do that? You should do that.
Yeah, absolutely do that. Let me just tell you one other thing I forgot to mention. By doing a deep dive into her background, this Nafong prosecutor, Jason, he would have found back in 1996, the same lady, Crystal Mangum, charged 3 other guys for kidnapping and raping her in 1993. So she waited 3 years to 96, then reports this. And guess what? That case falls apart because she doesn't want to testify. Had those prosecutors done their homework, they would have seen, here's a red flag. She's a red flag. Vet her. Now let's talk about the charges. I've heard this ridiculous excuse. The statute of limitations has expired. Are you kidding me? She just admitted she lied. That's perjury. Charge her for perjury, and the better charge is obstruction of justice. She filed false police reports, had all these investigators go after these Duke lacrosse players, and Jason, unless there are some consequences for her actions, i.e. prosecuted, what message does this send to somebody else that wants to come forward and ruin the life of somebody else by saying they were sexually assaulted?
No, I feel for these 3 young men. I hope for them and their family. I just so sad. Prosecutor, lock her up, let her have decades more to think about it and show the world that we're actually going to prosecute these types of things. Brian, thank you.